N4XAT.
ONA, November Tango, Denby Dale, amateur radio society. Well, Matt, a very good evening or a very good day wherever you are here on the net and also on YouTube. I hope everything is okay with everyone. We have 28, 29 degrees sunshine during the last couple of days, so that's nice. We have summer now. That's very nice. So I really enjoyed the talk yesterday. It was very interesting and very useful. I think I really enjoyed that. Probably we will have some comments about that and also about some other issues. And first of all, I would like to check if there is anyone on the repeater on Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray. Is there anyone on Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray who wants to join the net from 08 November Tango? Go ahead. Nothing heard. Let's go to Scotland, to the borders of Scotland. Golf Mike 4, Juliet Kilo Zulu. Keith, a very good evening from 08 November Tango in the group. Go ahead, Keith.
08 November Tango with the group GM48KZS. Good evening, Jeff, and everyone listening. And yeah, we've had rain today, which is quite pleasant for the plants in the garden. But have enjoyed the warm weather here as well, I must admit. Although Scotland normally gets the worst of it, it's not to have some sunshine up here. No, not too busy this week. The talk last night was extremely good. It got me thinking, and it got me starting to look at my settings on my FTDX 3000 for the various modes, which is a good thing. Particularly on the audio type spectrum, between I'm currently set at 400 to 2,800, I think. Sort of tailored it down more for repeat at the moment, but yeah, got the old brain working, I must admit. Other things going on. I don't know if anybody has or is using hand clock software on a Raspberry Pi, but I've just got that up and running on a spare Pi that I've got, and I'm absolutely staggered at the amount of information you can glean from it, particularly on propagation and the propagation colour maps that it produces for whichever band or whichever time of the day you select. But that's well worth looking at. That's on clearskyinstitute.com /ham/ham clock, and there are websites where you can pay for it, but it is a free download as long as you've got a Raspberry Pi and obviously SIM card or memory card, should I say? But I'm very pleased with it. I've also got another clock. Bought one of those shack clocks from Martin Lynch and Son. Came yesterday. I'm really pleased with it. It's brilliant. It goes to temperature 27 degrees at the moment, and went for the green model. And it just makes life easy when the PC time clock on the bottom right hand corner is covered up with something else you're running. It's nice to have a decent clock. It's promising one for a long time for myself. And the last thing is we've got new bunch of birds in the bird box, so I've got a square meter that hasn't been painted black yet, but enough of that is driving me nuts. So back to you, Jeff. 08NT with the group GM48KZ.
Okay, thank you. Well, Mike, Juliet Kilos, the group of 08 November Tango, and already some very interesting information there about the hand clock. Free download, because of course I've saw all these offers where you have to pay Even on the big emporium that you mentioned there was one with a computer with a small PC and so on. So the geosynchron system or something. But that's interesting to know that there is something which is free to download if you have Raspberry Pi lying around. And by the way, the Raspberry Pis are not expensive at all anyway. So that's interesting. Okay, no, thanks for that, Keith. And let's go to Nick. Call 4, India, Whiskey Oscar, the group. 08 November Tango. Go ahead, Nick.
08 November Tango and the group from G4IWO. Good evening to you, Jeff, and good evening to our listeners on YouTube and our listeners on YouTube later in the week who catch up with the recording of tonight's live stream. First of all, I'm pleased, Keith, that you enjoyed Lindy's contribution last night. When I saw his articles in QST originally, I thought that they would make a fantastic presentation. And when I spoke to him, he was one of those people who said very clearly that he didn't feel very keen on doing a kind of presentation, and he hadn't done one before online. And he would much prefer to do questions and answers. So that's how we came up with last night's format for the meeting. And I think it worked because, you know, obviously I'd talked to Lindy beforehand and we had exchanged some ideas with each other. And of course, also I'd read his articles and used those as the basis for the questions I was putting to him. It did mean that I think the format brought out the best out of Lindy because he's clearly someone who absolutely 100% knows his subject. And you could tell that in the way in which he gave his answers. He made sometimes quite complicated things sound very simple. And that to me is someone who's on top of the subject that they're talking about. So that's it for now. I'll catch up later on. Lots of things to talk about, but I'm pleased that Keith enjoyed it and you did, Jeff, and I'm sure others did as well. Back to you then, Jeff. 08 November Tango in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO, 08 November Tango. Yeah, absolutely, Nick. And I think the format worked out very well. That really worked out very well. Because I understood that he is not the guy who is making PowerPoint presentations and things like that, and that he didn't like that. But actually, the question and answer format really worked very well. And he was a very, very interesting person to listen to. And of course, you could feel that he has a lot of knowledge. He could probably come second or third time and come up with all kinds of new things and interesting things, I think. Okay, no. Andrew, Mike 0, Romeo, Oscar Lima, the group 08 November Tango. Go ahead, Andrew. 08 November Tango in the group. Yes, good evening, Jeff, and good evening, everyone else that's on the net tonight. It's quite a good talk last night, so apologies. I will catch that up on YouTube. I was out on the marshes, not far from mine, the Porlock, chasing sunsets that never really happened. So I was stood out in the middle of nowhere for a few hours, hoping that the sun would set properly and get some good photographs rather than being at home. But the cover was nice beforehand, so everything was not lost after all. But so it sounds like I missed a good talk yesterday, so I will watch that later on this evening on that one. So I'll keep this one. But I noticed that he said Ben isn't on Dave. He did ask me to relay his apologies on if he didn't come on tonight. He actually drove over to Minehead and we had yesterday morning. So he said that he's feeling particularly tired, so he won't be on tonight. So if I can just pass his apologies on to you and the group. And in the meantime, back to you, Jeff. Oscar number 8, November Tango. This is M0 or 11.
O-N.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Very nice, and give our best wishes to Dave if you hear or see him. Yeah, no problem at all. And let's go to Germany. Mike and Adriana, I hope Mike health is okay, and that you are able to enjoy a little bit of good weather, maybe with some outing, if that would be possible. I hope you have more or less the same weather that we have here. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. The Grupo in 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
D.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Yeah, very good evening. Goedenavond, Jeff, and very good evening to all members and other participants and all listeners there. Yeah, we are okay over here. Hope the same applies to everyone listening. But we've had very crazy weather here. There are lots of thunderstorms and rainfalls, heavy rainfalls, and high temperatures above 32 degrees Celsius about in Germany, even in northern Germany. But we have been lucky so far. The weather mainly passed us. Well, with the exception of the temperatures, of course, it's awfully hot inside the house, and we don't get the heat out of the rooms, and it's uncomfortable sleeping at night. But okay, it will cool down in the course of the next night, and then hopefully tomorrow everything will be better. So we like a good warm temperature, but for me personally, it shouldn't exceed 25 degrees centigrade. That would be ideal for me. But nevertheless, because of the problematic weather, we had to take down both outdoor antennas again. So working only with the indoor antennas at this moment. We'll put them up outside at the weekend, I think. One word to yesterday's talk. Yeah, it was really excellent, very knowledgeable and very interesting, very interesting. But I have to say, I also very much liked the idea to have a question and answers interview, so to speak. That very much appealed to me, and I think it got much more lively than a mere talk could be. Yeah, now, apart from the very interesting contents of the talk, it was also very interesting to listen to this let me call it new kind of talk, inverted commas. That was really very good. So, so far from my side, passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Very good evening to all of you and to all our listeners on the YouTube channel. Hope you're all well. And yes, today should have been the first day of our journey to Friedrichshafen. At the moment, we hear from our colleagues from Germany how the weather conditions and the conditions there are at Friedrichshafen seems to be quite well, and tomorrow there should start the ham radio, so we can't be there, but there will be some internet live screens there, and some YouTube videos from the ham radio. This should be very interesting, and I think the motto of this year is 60 years of IOTA, and I think there might be some interesting content there, which one can follow on the YouTube channel. So yes, I don't have to report very much at the moment, so I hand the microphone back to Oscar November 8, November Tango for the group.
Okay, Roger, Mike and Adriana, Delta Lima 1, Bravo, Juliet, Whiskey and Delta Lima 8, BDT. The group 08 November Tango, and okay, about the weather there, we have more or less the same weather but without the thunderstorms, so we escaped that. Actually, the thunderstorms are more to the east of Belgium, to the German border actually, to the German Luxembourg border. So we escaped that more or less. Although I think we will get some maybe Saturday. And tomorrow will be about 23 degrees, so not that hot. And over the weekend we will get some rain and 22, 23 degrees, which is also enough for me. Okay, just wondering, Bob, in the States, how your heat wave is going. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group 08 November Tango.
Oscar November 8, November Tango, this group. This is November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. First of all, good evening to everyone, or good afternoon if you're listening on another position. But good evening to all on the net. Finally, Jeff, our heat wave has broken. We are now at our high of the day, and it is 29 degrees Celsius. And believe me, that's a cool day over the last week or two. I just can't believe the difference between 85 Fahrenheit and 104 or 5 Fahrenheit. I think the high was 107 Fahrenheit, so 85 great. Last evening we had a storm, and it knocked out power for a bit. And it knocked out just long enough to where one of the lights in my room is controlled with Wi-Fi. Well, when the power went out, that was fine. But when the power came back on, the Wi-Fi turned my light on so that it awakened me in the middle of the night. So I might have to figure a way around that if we have power failures during the night. Next comment, Lindy's presentation last night was great, and I agree with Mike. I loved the format, the question and answer format that was presented. It kept me awake throughout, and to be honest with you, even though I don't use a lot of USB, I did learn a lot about audio settings yesterday. I won't hold the mic, but on the next go around, I'll talk a bit about the problems on the battleship. ON 8 and Team Group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango.
Yeah, okay, Bob. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, ON 8 November Tango. Very good that the heat wave is gone, although 29 degrees Celsius for the heat wave. That's what we got yesterday and today, so that's far too much for me, and also for Mike and maybe for some others here. Okay, very nice, Bob. Well, on a personal level here, the highlights for me during this week was catching some sporadic heat on 2 meters. So I was able to work into Greece and into the south of Italy, and 2 days ago I think it was Portugal, and I heard Madeira, but I could not work him. He was in and out, so too strong QSB. But anyway, I heard them. Okay, so that's maybe something to look out. When the conditions are not that good on HF, it's always good to keep an eye on 2 meters and on 6 meters and on 4 meters. Okay, let's try again to see if there is anyone on Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray. Is there anyone on Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray or anyone else who wants to join the net from ON 8 November Tango in the group? Nothing heard, so let's go to Scotland again. Golf Mike 4 Juliet Kilo 2. Group ON 8 November Tango, go ahead, please.
8 November Tango with a group GM 4JKZ, yeah. Fine. just thinking of more than 107 degrees, I think I would probably expire at that temperature. And we've had some warm temperatures up here. We've had somewhere around 28.5 briefly. And the problem I have is that my aircon on the car isn't functioning at the moment. I think I've had a stone through the aircon radiator, which is, believe it or not, in front of the main engine water cool radiator. So it takes the brunt of whatever comes off the road. So I have to drive with windows down and my hair's a mess. But enough of that. Yeah, the other thing about the, by the way, I put the link to clearskyinstitute.com on the WhatsApp webpage. So it will take you a while to sort of filter through it and see what it's capable of doing. I'm pretty impressed, I must admit. And a lot of the information is back through links to the NASA satellite systems as well. I've actually got an old Samsung 7-inch tablet here, which has been in the drawer for, I can't think how long now, 3 or 4 years, never used it. Charged it up, and because the Pi 3 and onwards has got Bluetooth, you can actually link it to a tablet. So this is going to be interesting for when I go out later on up on the hills. And you can also run it onto a Windows machine, Windows PC, but there's another couple of programs I think you have to put on to do that. But it's all explained in the FAQs, the downloads and the user guide, which is exceptionally good, I must admit. So, I think that's about it from me at the moment. Can't think of anything else. Slowly cooking up here, although it's raining outside. This shack does hold the heat, so I shall go and open the window, I think. Back to you there, Jeff. 08 November Tango with the group.
Thank you. Very much for the on the last go forward on the WhatsApp. Very interesting. I will go into that in further detail, or will go into exploiting what it's all about. That really seems to be something very interesting. Okie doke, Nick. Golf 4 India Whiskey Oscar, the group 08 November Tango.
08 November Tango in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you again, Jeff, and good evening to Mike and Adriana, and to, of course, Andrew and Bob as well out there in the States. It's nice to have a nice group of people, as always, in our club nets here. Yeah, I spent this morning having an online meeting with Lorna 2E0POI, who's the editor of one of the latest RSGB publications called the Antenna Notebook, which is a super little book, paperback book, with dozens and dozens of simple designs for antennas. And Lorna's the editor of that, and she's going to come and speak to us next month on the 24th of July. But she wanted to go over aspects of her talk with me, and she was asking for some ideas and so on. So this will be her first ever talk to any online group of people as a radio ham. So hopefully we'll all give her a really good welcome when she comes along. As to portable activity, I think many people followed it when I went out on Wednesday. Conditions were absolutely fabulous yesterday. Even where I was on the top of the hill there at a place called Blackstone Edge in the southern Pennines, there's a large reservoir, and the Pennine Way goes across there. It got up to about 28 degrees, although brought down a bit, but as far as it felt by the wind. There was quite a strong breeze at the top of the hill. Today, the temperature is falling enormously, so it's currently 12 degrees outside, and we've got rain falling at the moment. but the temperature's been dropping all day. So suddenly the weather has taken quite a considerable turn downwards, which is a great shame because whilst I don't want it to be baking hot, I would like to have some summer weather to enjoy because I really enjoyed the portable activation I made on Wednesday, and I want to do more of those over the coming few weeks before we go away on holiday in August. But to know it was a great day out on the hills there, and I was able to get 67 QSOs in the log. And Jeff, I know you were one of those that gave me some pointers to applications to use on tablets and phones and things. And the one that I've found the best and the most simple to use has been the Ham2K portable logger, also known as Polo. And I found that very, very easy to use out in the field, and even easier to email myself the ADDI file, which I could then import straight into my own log, and of course up onto Parks on the Air as well. So that was a good find. I definitely recommend that, and free as well. That helps considerably. So back to you, Jeff. ON8 November Tango in the group G4IWO.
Okay, G4IWO, the group ON8 November Tango. Okay, Nicole, I missed your activation actually because I was outside. We were enjoying the weather and the shadow, of course. But anyway, we were enjoying the shadow, and when I came home, I saw that there was some that you were already at home, or not. You were enjoying a beer. It was more that you were enjoying one of the good local beers there. So Roger about that. And okay, about that logger, I think that must be Polo, the new Polo logger, which is available on Android and also on iOS system. So that's probably the one you were using. Okido. Yeah, I remember we discussed about that and say that maybe logging on a tablet or on a phone was not that easy, but maybe you managed to do that. So that's quite interesting. Okido. I had some other thing in my mind, but I forgot about it. It will come back. Mike Zero, Romeo Oscar Lima, Andrew, the group of 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Andrew.
M.
ROL. Well, I have to say, I don't know where all this good weather is, but it's certainly not in Minehead. We had one reasonable day yesterday where I think it peaked at but we've had a lot of cloud cover in the days when the rest of the country has been badly hot. Even a cloud over us, which kept it to around about 16, 17 degrees. But I have to say though, today I went out for a walk, took the dog out for his afternoon walk, and I got wet. It rained on me, and that wasn't forecast at all. So the our place. Our daughter was to Amsterdam on Friday evening, and I noticed that the airlines are warning of disruption with severe thunderstorms and lightning across Europe, and delays on the flight. So that could well go on that. But no, I think that we're in quite mild conditions here. It was a bit of a breezy day today. Radio-wise, I have to say, I did the radio event, which I think I mentioned last time on there. I keep turning the radio on, but HF at the moment seems to be particularly begin to wonder whether it's a lot of it is down to the solar panels we have. I must get out on there. The advantage of getting out on places like North Hill, where I normally go, is that the number of ticks on the I'll talk to that minute. Very careful with these things. So, yes, I have for a while. That's my excuse. Yeah. It's bad. I don't sit down and get caught in tips. I'm operating. I've got to say, we don't. I'll pass it back to you, Jeff. I was Denver Tango in the group now, 0 ROL. Okay, Andrew, Mike Single, Roman Oscar Lima, Grupo 18 November Tango. I must say I had a lot of breakups on your modulation, so maybe that will be on my side. So I will just check with Mike and Adriana, Delta 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Do you have the same breakups on Andrew's Mike 0 Romeo of the Lima modulation? Mike, go ahead. Grupo 18 November Tango in the group.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Yes, unfortunately, I have to say that the transmission from Andrew was not intelligible on our side here, on the receiving side, because of a lot of breakups. I could say only about every 10th or 11th word was to be heard, and then there was another breakup. So, unfortunately, yes. Back to you.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Well, the microphone is to you. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 BDT. 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. First of all, congrats to Nick for his achievements regarding the private field day, so to speak, on the Pennine Way there, and to Jeff on 8 November Tango regarding the successes in 2 meters. Well done, Jeff. My 2 meter days are long past, and we haven't got any appropriate antenna for it, only 2 meter and 70 SAMS antenna vertical below the roof, which is not really ideal, but I remember olden days when I did some FT8 and FT4 on 2 meters with these antennas. It was possible, but of course it was not reaching far out, but nevertheless I should reenact the system, I think. That is to say, take out my old trusted FT817 from Yaesu with the 2 meter and 70 SAMS possibilities there on board, and try again. That sounds very intriguing and very interesting, Jeff. Otherwise here, very poor propagation on all bands the whole week over. Sometimes I get a little bit surprised by CW possibilities which pop up in between, but mainly lot of disturbances, lot of what do you call it, wheezing tunes every 10 kilohertz or so, which I cannot explain. Perhaps they have to do with the ionosphere. I'm not sure. Or they have to do with some of my neighbors could also be the case. But very poor propagation and no big results. On CW, I worked Caribbean station and Madeira, but the best one was the station from Texas. He was one of these stations which pop up in between, as I said, and there was nothing on the band, only one very weak station, and I called him on CW and he answered, and we had a nice QSO. So nevertheless, From time to time you get lucky, but it's hard trying here. Okay, passing the microphone to DL8 BDT.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, also from my side, congrats to Jeff on 8 November Tango for the 2-meter contact. Very, very interesting. All over Europe, with 2 meters. That's fantastic. I didn't ever work SSB on 2 meters. I can only remember the times when I worked on the SM repeaters, and there had been a good period when I was sitting in my garden and was working Great Britain, a guy who was just selling ice cream on the beach was quite nice, but SSB seems to be quite challenging and interesting. And Nick, yes, congratulations to your 67 QSOs there. And yes, you are right. Weather conditions are very important for being portable outside. And when it will be a little bit chilly, more chilly, one hasn't the patience to stay outside for such a long time. But as I remember when you were with a group on the Tota expedition a few weeks ago, I was very impressed of all participants who were staying on the bad weather and making QSO. So yes, on my side, I've not worked something very interesting. I was just trying to improve my CW knowledges and coming into the band when it will be a little bit better. So I hand the microphone back to Oscar November 8 November Tango for.
Okay, Mike and Adriana, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 PDT. Well, to be clear about it, my contacts on 2 meters were on FT8. It was on FT8, it was not on SSB. Although I remember when I was just licensed with my foundation license, I had a slim gym on the attic of the house when we were living in Ghent in a house. In the attic, I have a slim gym antenna, and I was monitoring 144 300 single sideband calling channel, and all of a sudden came a Echo Alpha 9 station, and I worked him. And 2 minutes later, he just disappeared. So it's also a little bit a question of good luck, I think. My antenna here on 2 meters and 70 centimeters is actually a 5-element block periodic antenna from Wimo, which is about 1 meter by 1 meter big. So it's a square meter on a tripod. So this is something that is very, very small, and that I am turning around with my hands each eye. So no motors involved or whatsoever. So yeah, it's a question of luck to be at the right time and to be able to earn them. Okie doke, over to the States, and curious what kind of news you have about the battleship New Jersey, Bob. November 4 X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group, or an 8 November Tango.
Group for X-Ray Alpha Tango. Well, we've run into a few problems. We thought that we would have trouble with the electrical because when they disconnect it, of course those wires have been in place for 20 years, and of course the coating on them was corroded. They repaired that and took care of that. One thing, all hotel facilities, the electricity is, but they're having trouble with the water and sewer. So as of this morning, they didn't have the water and sewer connected up yet. And of course, that means there also is no air conditioning on the ship.
So we doubt very seriously whether we'll be on the air this weekend. However, we have acquired several ANURT 23 transmitters. That's a 1,000-watt transmitter, several different modes. And we had to store those on the mess deck. That has to be moved to the transmitter room and then mounted. Even though it's going to be very hot this weekend, they are going to allow the volunteers aboard, and possibly I'll be ending up connecting up the transmitters once they're moved to the transmitter room. They tell us old people that if we can just sit and handle nuts and bolts and connect things up, that'll be our job. So that's the story of the battleship. Hopefully we'll be on the air, but I doubt very seriously it will be on this weekend. However, one Saturday night, the rear deck will be open, the fantail will be open for fireworks, and they'll allow visitors aboard for fireworks on the rear deck. I doubt whether I'll be going to that during the daytime, but I have gone to their fireworks in the past. That's great over the river. Well, I have the microphone down for a second here. Keith, thank you for downloading that link. I'll look at it after we're finished. Mike, I agree with you on the poor band conditions. I hardly have made any contacts recently, even in CW. My parks on the air is down to a minimum. I have noticed that at nighttime when I come in and close everything down, that the band seemed to be opening up at just the opposite of what they were previously, but it's just a little too late for me. But this morning, for the first time since I've been back to New Jersey, I was able to work mid-sussing just a bit in CW. That one's 15 meters, and that's the first time since I've been back. So I'm glad of that. And Nick, I have several questions for you. First of all, from Blackstone Age, congratulations on the job you did. The map that you sent, I presume, was from RPN, and one of the paths was into the central United States. I'm curious how those 67 contacts anywhere to the United States. And also, after you mentioned the Polo, the AM2K, I downloaded it, and it looked very interesting. I downloaded it on my iOS system here, and if I ever get out, I'll use it, and I might try it just from home just to see how it works. With that, back to you, Jeff. ON8NT and 4XAT. Okay, thank you, Bob, with your comments about the battleship and also about the M2K Polo, which is the Polo app, I think. Okay, very interesting. Let's go to the top of the list again and see if there is anyone on the repeater on Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray. Maybe Gerald, the Golf 3 SDY, would be there. I don't know. Gerald, if you are there, go ahead, or anyone else from 8 November Tango in the group. I don't think Gerald is a shy person. So if he would be there, he would certainly be answering. But anyway, Scotland, Golf Mike 4, Juliet Kilo Zulu, the group of 8 November Tango.
8 November Tango from GM4JKZ, yeah, fine there, yeah. And 2 meter DX thing, yes, I remember it well. When I lived down on the south coast in Worthing, I had a Cross 8 and a Trio TS 700G running 10 watts, and I regularly worked, obviously, into France. But I think I've told you before, my most interesting one was with a quarter wave, 5/8 mag mount on the roof of the works vehicle running 10 watts FM on a calling channel, and I was answered by another mobile in the middle of Amsterdam, which was interesting. And as you say, these things pop up and disappear. I had a quick 20-30 second chat with him and cleared the frequency for others around me who were listening in, and he just disappeared off the face of the earth. So strange conditions, but I am learning from that bit of software, the hand clock, with the coloured graphical display on bands, etc. It's quite absorbing. And yeah, Bob, I'll listen out this weekend if you're going to be up and running over there on the old battleship. Like to work here. And congrats, obviously, I forgot to say last time, Nick, on your 67 Q zone. That's very good. Yes, you're rotating your antenna by hand. That's called the Armstrong method. And the cross rate I had down in Worthing, I had the pole coming through the roof down onto a wooden plate in my shack, which was the loft space. And keep the water out, I had an Austin A40 rubber gear boot cover on the pole, clamped on the pole, which worked a treat. So, and of course the bearing at the bottom, I just put a pile of grease in there and it worked a treat, absolutely. So, what was the other thing? Oh, solar panels. Yeah, the advantage to solar panels, of course, Andrew, if like me, you're the same. We used all our own power yesterday, and we exported some, and we didn't use any off the grid at all. So I was quite pleased about that. First time we've done that. So I'm delighted. But managed to cut the grass this morning while it was sunny. It was nice and windy, so I kept cool. And then, like everybody else, I think the weather's come in now, and it's sort of rain and stop, sun, rain and stop, and so on and so forth. So there we go. Okay, Jeff, back to you. 08 November Tango with the group, PM4JKZ.
Okay, Golf Mike 4 Juliet Kilo Zulu. For 8 November Tango in the group, and okay about your 2-meter adventures into Amsterdam. That's good stuff. And I do remember the DS700G from Kenwood, which was a nice small transceiver. Yeah, absolutely good fun. And okay about your solar panels. Congratulations on that. That's good achievement. Yeah, well, here at the department we discuss about solar panels, but you need a majority to do that, and unfortunately we didn't got the 2/3 majority. We have 66% we need in order to put some solar panels on the roof here, and we just didn't reach that. We had a 62 or something, so no solar panels here on our apartment building, which would be interesting. Okay, go 4 India Whiskey Oscar, the group for 8 November Tango.
Oh, an 8 November Tango from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. And first of all, you're absolutely right. The program is the Polo logger, the portable logging program. And I found it to be the simplest one to operate in the field. I tried them all out in the back garden in the sunshine over the last couple of weeks, and came to the conclusion that this one seemed to be the best. And so what I did yesterday when I was out in the field was just scribble down on my notebook a call sign as it came in, and when I was listening to the over, I was quickly typing in the call and so on into the log, and it's very good. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, I got the and for Bob, the little charter photograph I posted yesterday came as a screenshot from that log, which is a bit strange because I did work other places. So I made 2 QSOs into the US, and I agree with everyone about propagation at the moment on HF. I think I said on WhatsApp last week, earlier this week, that a CQ call when the band was completely dead as far as I could hear, just a few EU stations. And I got 2 Brazilian stations one after the other in the log on CW. Came out of nowhere. One of them was very strong indeed. And it was a bit like that yesterday operating out in the field. Lots of Europeans and great fun. Quite a few in northern Germany, by the way, Mike and Adrienne. There was a couple up by the Baltic. So some good propagation into northern Europe yesterday. But the two US stations that I worked yesterday, Bob, one was in Florida and the other was in Virginia. So I guess looking at the map, his call sign is N4MM, November 4 Mike Mike. He's over not that far from Washington, I believe, in Virginia. So that was a a good unexpected call when conditions didn't seem to be that good. And I also agree with you, Bob, about when the band comes alive. It's been the same here. I find that in the evening from about 9 p.m. our time, British summertime, we start to get some DX coming through unexpectedly on the band. And that makes it more interesting and maybe a few more QSOs as well. But it's not there's high noise level, just propagation is completely down, isn't it? It's very, very flat at the moment. But I guess, we're in the, we're bubbling along in this at the top end of the solar cycle. So we will get some great openings, I'm quite certain, over the coming months. Anyway, back to you, Jeff. ON8 November Tango in the group, G4IWO.
Well, the group for an 8 November Tango, and I agree on that peak on the propagation, not that big. But I think there is too much absorption during the summer months. The layer absorption is too heavy, so that's probably one of the reasons why we have some difficulties. And I have the same observations. I start to operate on HM normally on 17 or 15 meters when at sunset, actually, when the sun is going down. I start to do some operation, and then sometimes I can work to Japan or Russia or even the States. So so that's maybe the strategy to go. Oh no, Mike 0 Romeo Oscar Lima, the group. Andrew, ON8 November Tango. Go ahead, Andrew.
Tango here in the group manager. Well, Jeff, after you said that my signal was breaking up, I'm having great difficulty here with most people now. So I think maybe the internet at the extremes of West Somerset is beginning to break up. So can I just check with you that I'm coming through okay, or whether I'm still breaking up? Back to you, Jeff.
Oh, there are a little bit breakups, but not bad as it was on your last over. So just go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, okay, thanks for that, Jeff. I'll keep it short just in case I do break up. Just coming back to you, Keith, on solar panels. Yes, it's always quite nice to check all the stats. I think today we've generated just under 30 kilowatts, and 21 kilowatts of that has gone into the grid, albeit because with Octopus, the rate that we get is variable. But before we put power into the grid, it goes in through the unit we have to heat the hot water. So yeah, there's some advantages of having solar. Disadvantages actually affects the radio, but in times like this, it's just nice to see the amount that we're generating. And just Nick, on your number of QSOs that you had, just as we use Hammerlog for my outdoor logging, which works extremely well for me. But everyone has got sort of different operating ways, and that is one I said, well, I have to try quite a number of that when it works on my phone. And it does work quite well because I can export straight to SOTA, and also for the composer as well, it works quite well. And
it will automate doing actually import it will go to QRZ and to EPSL as well. So that's my preferred one of choice. But I keep this one short, Jeff, just in case I'm breaking up. Back to you, Oscar number 8, November Tango, M0 ROL. Much better over this time. I think still some breakups, maybe 10% or so. So it's better. The previous one was maybe 50%, 60% loss, but now it's about 10% loss. So it's better. So I got your message through, no problem at all. Okie doke. Back to Germany. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey, the group for an 8 November Tango.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. First, Andrew, your last transmission was really very much better than the first one, and I think there are no problems now to be solved. Word to antennas. I'm very glad that we've got these outdoor wire antennas because we developed a system, in inverted commas, to lower them very quickly to the ground if WX gets a little bit complicated, as it was in the last few days here. And actually, it takes only about, I'd say, 2 or 3 minutes to get the antennas down to earth and to stack them into the hedge at the end of the lot here. And we've got some hooks to put the antenna on. So when we get better weather and put the antennas up high again, it only takes about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we get them working again. So that's a system like with a pulley, I think is the word, and it works very well. I'm planning to do some experiments with 2 parallel vertical antennas, parasitic antennas, so to speak. I think I mentioned before, we've got 2 JPC 12 antennas, or PAC 12 antennas, PAC 12, as they are also called, from China. And they are good for portable use. They are quite similar to the antennas Nick is using on his field days. And they actually have have a quality like a 5/8, I think it's the word, antenna vertical, which is fat in the middle. And so this makes a very good portable antenna and also very effective vertical antenna. And I plan to put one up at the end of the garden and connect that to the transceiver via a feeder line, and put another similar antenna 3.4 meters away from the first, so that there will be, hopefully, there will be a kind of beam possibilities for these 2 antennas working together. They will not be linked. The second antenna will not be linked to the first and not be linked to the transceiver, but it should work as a parasitic element. That anyway is the experience of our friend Brian from New Zealand, ZR3XDY, who describes this antenna in his videos on YouTube. and I will try that out. I'm very much looking forward to it, and thinking that perhaps this will bring some results. I hope so anyway. So that's the news. Microphone back to Delta Lima, or further on to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, I'm also looking very forward to Mike's experience. This is with the parasitic element of the vertical antenna. First time when I saw the video on YouTube, I had quite a doubt if this can work, but the results Brian has shown on YouTube are quite convincing, and even Peter Waters mentioned the system in one of his last videos, and so I think might be worth a try. But unfortunately, during the last few days, because of the conditions here and especially the conditions in the neighboring gardens, where many people were who might watch us with a little suspicious view, it will be better to do this during the next days when there will be a little bit more quiet this year. So I at present have nothing to report further, so I hand the microphone back to Oscar November 8 November Tango for the group.
Okay, Mark and Adriana, Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey, Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. I was asking myself, all these movements in the garden there, that must probably bring some suspicion by some people, but anyway, that's what you thought at least. Yeah, well, it's a little bit the same here on the balcony. I have to be a little bit cautious, because otherwise some people, think I'm doing quite some strange things. I'm also putting the antennas down when the thunderstorm is coming up, as I am on the top floor. So I lay them down, the different antennas that I have, and I can do that also in 2 or 3 minutes, and I can put them up again also in 2 or 3, 5 minutes maybe. So that's a good thing to do, I think. And very interested, Mark and Adriana, in your test there with the vertical, the 2 verticals with the parasitic element. I saw that video by Brian, and really fascinating, I think. So it's absolutely fascinating what he is achieving with his small setup there. I think he is using actually gray line mixing to work it to Europe from New Zealand. So that's also part of the story, I think. Okie doke, November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango, the group, or an 8 November Tango.
Going 8 NT with the group and 4 XAT. Well, first of all of this discussion on UHF and VHF, I haven't done any 2 meters or 70 centimeters since we've moved here, so I haven't done any UHF, VHF really in about 8 years. I did try when I first got here, but there weren't too many people active, so I just stayed away from it. But now you piqued my interest again. My interest really has been up. This is the time to look at 6 meters, and I haven't really done any 6 meters since I've been here. The other day I heard my first FD8 on 6 meters, so this is the time of the year at least to look at that. And like an Adriana, that parasitic element, that sounds interesting. I'm going to have to look at that ZL3XDY, I believe it was Brian's website or YouTube articles. The only question I have, and I'll probably see that online, is I would presume that you amount the parasitic element different distances from the driven element for different bands, but I'm not positive of that. But I will look at that video definitely. So now I have that. I have
link to look at, and I have more interest now, especially in the 2 meters activities. So there you go. Thank you very much for running the net, by the way, Jeff. Back to you. ONA ND with group November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango. November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango, the group ONA, November Tango. Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I'm doing in the summer. My experience in the summer in June, July, it's during the day, it's quite difficult to do some HF, generally speaking, because of the absorption. But on 6 meters, 4 meters, you don't have the state. But anyway, 6 meters and 2 meters is quite interesting. So I'm actually standby on 6 meters and on 2 meters during the day. During the day, I'm standby, and in the evening when the sun is setting, I'm going to HF again. Unless there is still some propagation on 6 meters, but 6 meters has been quite hot, and I see that a lot of people have worked into the States. So it's possible, I think, to work into the States, or you working into Europe. I worked Brazil a couple of days ago on 6 meters, so it's absolutely possible. It's the magic band, so let's try for that. Okay, let's go for the finals now. I think we made quite some interesting topics. We covered quite some interesting topics, and maybe it's good to say goodbye and to go for the final thoughts. So let's go to Scotland. Gold night 4, Juliet Kilo Zulu, the group of 8 November Tango.
I have Tango in the European 40k there for the finals, yes. Jolly good. I've just downloaded the Polo, and I'm very impressed with it, I must admit. So I did also, I did treat myself last week to an Apple 10 iPad, he said. So it runs beautifully on there, and I'm very impressed with it, I must admit. It's my first portable piece of software for logging, I would suggest. And regards the phased arrays, Mike and Adriana, if you look out, it's about 4 months ago, Commander, he did a little video on could we phase 2 multi-band vertical antennas together, which was quite interesting. And I can't remember, he also used the MMANA software to design it and explain it. So that's another source that you could perhaps look into. Go back to the Polo software. I love it when you start loading it. The first thing that comes up, it says charging the flux capacitor, which I thought was quite amusing. And on that note, I should say a very good evening to one and all our listeners and all our club members. And I hope you get some more DX, which I'm looking forward to, he said. 08 November Tango from TM48KZ in rainy Scottish borders.
Okay, Keith. It's still sunshine. I think it's still 26 degrees or so outside with sunshine. Okay, thank you very much, Keith, for your contribution. Very interesting. And let's go to Nick, goal 4, India Whiskey Oscar, the group. 08 November Tango.
Yes, 08 November Tango in the group from G4IWO. Jeff, in my last QTH, where I lived in the equivalent of a HOA as they have in the US, where by contract, no person living there was allowed to put up an external antenna. I think at one stage I had 3 different wire antennas that were invisible. But when I operated VHF and UHF, I simply put up a Yagi antenna. I had a 7 element on 70 sems and 5 elements on 2 meters on one boom on a tripod just 6 feet off the ground, And when there were European openings, I was able to work into France and Germany and Austria and Italy and so on, even with such a simple antenna. I haven't yet tried that since I moved here. I've been having too much fun on the whole with HF and other radio activities, and haven't managed to work any 2 meters sideband from here. But I will definitely get my tripod out again and do a similar thing with the antenna there, since I don't really want to put one on the roof of the house. But yeah, I think working DX on 2 meters and 4 and so on is always more fun, because you know that that is absolutely not the norm. Whereas, as you say, Jeff, on HF, particularly in the winter months when the ionosphere is in a much better condition and not absorbing our radio waves, then you know, we can work literally all over the world. But yeah, it's been a nice evening, and nice to hear everybody, and jealous, of course, of your warm weather out there in Europe, and hoping we're going to get some back here. But certainly the longer range forecasts in the UK for my part of the country show an average of about 16, 17 degrees every day, and periods of rain as well. So sadly, summer has departed. Just before I go, Jeff, I'm going to wish our listeners on YouTube, as I know you will, of course, when you finish, a very pleasant evening and a very pleasant time of the day, whatever time you're listening to this net. And it's been a pleasure to know that you join us during the week and hear what we get up to on the net here. Our next club speaker is on the 10th of July, and we have the speaker who is going to give a talk about an ancient radio amateur, Gerald Marquez, a G2NM, who literally is one of the founders of radio in England. And he's going to give a talk. He's written a book about him, and he's going to give her a talk based on what he's learned from the book that he's written. So good night, everybody. 73s to you, and thank you very much for your company. 018NT in the group G4IWO.
IWO, the group going in. Thank you very much, Nick, for all the tips and the information. And hope to catch you again next week. And let's go to Andrew. Mike 0, Romeo Oscar Lima for your final. Go ahead, Andrew. 08 November Tango in the group. Oscar November Tango in the group M0 ROL. Well, just going back to the login program that you mentioned, Nick, and also Keith, I've downloaded it as well, and I have to say it does look quite impressive and functional at this stage, and I actually got loading warp drive, so I guess it's a different caption each time. So I'll play around with that one. That looks to be quite good. So thanks for the tip on that one, Nick. And Jeff, thanks for running the net tonight. As always, it's been quite a nice little net we've had tonight. Lots going on. Let's hope the weather's going to make it a little bit more conducive to get out and operate. Once the thunderstorms have passed through Europe, and obviously the heat that some of you are getting, not us down in here, and it's so that we can sort of get back on the air and do some radio on that one. And I'll pass your good wishes on today before I speak to you tomorrow. And all I have to say is thanks for running the net, and 73 to all, and hope to catch you all next week. Oscar November 8 November Tango in the group. This is M0 ROL. Thank you, Andrew, and my best wishes to Dave. I hope to catch him again, maybe next week or so. Give him our best wishes. And thank you for your contributions, Andrew. Very nice to catch up again with everyone here. That's a real pleasure. And let's go to Germany for your final. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 BDT. The group over 8 November. Thanks. Go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey was the final. Yes, first of all, thank you very much for hosting the net. Jeff, excellent work. Thank you for that. And thank you, Keith, for your advice about the X-Commander video. I will look that up. And I think I misspelled the call sign of Brian. It was Zulu, or it is Zulu Lima 3 X-Ray Delta Juliet. I think I said Yankee or something like that. It's Zulu Lima 3 X-Ray Delta Juliet, and can be found on the YouTube channel under this call sign. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice meeting you all again for this evening. It was very interesting and a very lively meeting. I'm very pleased with that, and looking forward to next week. So all the very best all around. Stay safe, stay healthy, and my best wishes to everyone listening. And 73 from DL1 BJW, passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yes, Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group for the final. Thank you very much for this nice evening, and thank you very much, Jeff, for hosting the net. And it was a pleasure as always. And I hope you will have a good week, and the weather conditions there in Great Britain won't hinder you too much to have a little fun with our hobby and make a little DX. So hope to meet you again down the log, and see you next week. 73 and 88 from Northern Germany. This was Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango, handing the microphone back to Oscar November 8 November Tango for the group.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike and Adriana. A real pleasure. And let's go to the States. November 4 X-Ray Alpha Tango. Bob, for your final toss from November 8 November Tango in the group.
November 8 November Tango, November 4 X-Ray Alpha Tango. First of all, Andrew, your last transmission was best way to find us is by reverse beacon, and normally it's around 1300 Zulu when we get on board. As I say, I expect to be in the transmitter room rather than in the radio room, which we're normally operate. But at any rate, if we're on, Tom usually operates on 30 meters, and I operate anywhere from 20. I usually start at around 14,052 plus or minus, and then I'll move up toward 10 meters depending on where the openings are. So 73 to all. Excellent net again, and thank you for running it, Jim. Did a wonderful job as usual. 08 NT with the group. November 4 X-Ray Alpha Tango.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much.
O-N.
That's good information. But if you don't manage to be operational on Saturday, no hurry. Could be the next week or something. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. It was an interesting net again with a basket full of practical tips and information. Really enjoyed that. And a good practice to put that on WhatsApp. So that's really a good idea. I would say thank you very much, everyone, for the tips, for the QSOs, and for all your contributions. And I hope to catch you again next week. And as usual, I will send a little picture, which is a painting from an old Flemish painter here in the local area, which is actually painting a painting about a peasant family which is resting during their hard job. So I would say 70 trees to everyone, and enjoy good conditions, enjoy the good weather hopefully for everyone, and I hope to catch you all again. The group from ONA November Tango, all the best, now by 70 trees.